A Denver teenager shot on his way home from school.
This is always a challenge whenever one of our students is injured.
We're hearing from the district as police look for the shooter. And RTD is focusing on improving safety. The agency's new chief of police is laying out his plans to make using RTD safer.
We have to understand that law enforcement is a primary goal and safety is a primary goal of everyone that rides RTD.
A prairie dog problem in Lafayette. The back and forth about ways to remove them.
I definitely think they need to be relocated, just a little bit too close to office space.
And the Broncos sold for a record price, but they're not even close to being the most valuable NFL franchise. But we begin at 11 with a Denver teenager shot on his way home from school. We just learned the suspect was in court this morning. Now, this happened yesterday near 14th and Downing, not far from the school that teen attended, the Denver School of Innovation and Sustainable Design. Now, thankfully, that student is going to be okay. Again, it happened in the area of 14th and Downing yesterday afternoon. You're seeing some shots there from Air Tracker 7, again, from the scene yesterday. Now, the district says the teen was on his way home from school with his mom when someone stepped out in front of their car and shot inside. The teen was taken to the hospital. The school sent out a letter to parents letting them know about the shooting and offering support. As you can imagine, this has been a lot for students to process, and school officials say they will have counseling services available all week.
You know, anytime there's any kind of traumatic event, whether it's something like what happened yesterday or something completely different, but still something that could be traumatic to our students and our staffs, it's very important to ensure that they get the support that they need to help process the events that happened and to help them through this so that they can be successful to move forward with the next day of school.
All of this happening on the first day of class for Denver Public Schools. Now, the suspect has been identified as a 22-year-old man. We'll have much more on this story coming up on Denver 7 News at 4. The murder of a 13-year-old in Longmont may have ties to gang violence. Zay Rosales was killed when someone shot him from a car on Saturday. He was walking through a park with his cousin and another teen who were also injured but survived. Court documents reveal the shooting may have stemmed from a fight between gangs at the Boulder County Fairgrounds the weekend before. Members of one group had been sending threats on Instagram ever since. One of those members is Yahir Solis. That 19-year-old is accused of killing Rosales. Well, we've told you about the uptick in crime and increased police patrols at Union Station in Denver. We've also been asking RTD what they're doing about it. Well, today, a new chief of police and emergency management comes on board. Denver 7's Patrick Perez joins us live with the new chief's plan to improve safety. Patrick?
Hey Jason, so the chief's name is Dr. Joe Fitzgerald, and he is coming to us from Waterloo, Iowa. It's a bit of a small town, but he has a lot of experience, including leading the Fort Worth Police Department several years ago. I want to take you now to a video of his swearing-in ceremony, which happened just after 10 o'clock this morning here at Union Station. Now, among members of the audience were his new co-workers at RTD Transit Police, a team of more than 600 contracted police and uniformed security officers across 40 cities. Now, when asked about the legacy that he wants to leave here, Chief Fitzgerald says he hopes to have expanded the police department the right way, achieved smart goals, and recruited people with integrity. But right now, concern about safety and security aboard RTD's buses and trains and its platforms is top of mind for riders, as is reliability. He says that is one of his top priorities.
It's incumbent upon us to refocus on our core values, to refocus on why we're here, and to be that police department that when you ride RTD, you say, I know I'm riding and I'm going to be safe, I'm going to be secure.
So coming up today at 4 o'clock and at 6, we will hear more from Chief Fitzgerald about his plans, including what he wants to do on day one. We'll keep you posted. For now, we're live at Union Station. I'm Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
A big job ahead, Patrick. Thank you so much. Denver Public Schools and the Teachers Union are meeting starting today to renegotiate contracts. 2019 was the last time they agreed on a contract, and it expires next week. Now, this is video from that year when Denver teachers were last on the picket lines. The union president tells Denver 7 they don't want the same thing to happen again this year.
We need to get to the point where we actually can make some real change with our class size and with our caseload size especially. We need to do that so that we can make sure that we have those wonderful educators in front of students. Our students deserve that.
The union says DPS is offering a 3.5% raise, but they want a higher rate to keep up with inflation. They also want smaller class sizes and smaller case loads for special education teachers. Douglas County wants to raise property taxes to pay teachers more and build new schools. School board directors will vote tonight on a resolution to send a $60 million mill levy override and $450 million bond to voters. The $60 million would be used to raise teacher salaries by about 9%. It would cost people with homes worth $500,000 about $250 a year. A proposal to raise property taxes to support Denver's library is heading to the November ballot. The city council approved that proposal last night. The new tax would cost about $11 per $100,000 of your home value. So if your home is valued at $500,000, this would cost you about $50 more per year. The city says this would raise more than $30 million to raise staff salaries and improve service for customers at the libraries. Another issue heading to Denver voters is whether or not to pay to repair the city's sidewalks. The proposal would make homeowners pay a twice-yearly fee. It would be less than $110 per year for the average household, but it's per sidewalk foot. So if you have a longer sidewalk, you'll be paying more. Martin Vigil expects he would have to pay over $600.
I just think it's unfair. I think it's an undue burden with people who take care of their properties and have special circumstances such as me, 3 sides.
Denver says about 40% of sidewalks in the city are either missing or are too narrow. Denver City employees will start to get paid family leave benefits. This comes from a new state program, but it's slightly different. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta breaks down the plan.
Thousands of people work for the city and county of Denver, and it's really likely at least one of them will get pregnant this year. Maybe another will have to travel out of state to take care of a loved one if they get sick. And now those employees can have peace of mind knowing they can take some time off work, take care of their loved ones, and still get their full pay. But that wasn't always the case, and it was something that some employees had to ask for.
When my mom was involved in a major car accident back in 2001, she had to have paid leave time from her employer, St. Joseph Hospital at the time. And that was a beneficial thing for me and my family.
I donated 40 hours for somebody to care for their parent. And as someone who has lost their parent, I didn't have the choice to be able to stay home and take FMLA with my father.
Denver City Council is opting out of the state's paid leave program, instead opting to start its own. The state's paid leave plan that won't start until January 2024. The Care Bank program, which is what Denver's calling its paid leave program, would start in just over 4 months from now. While the city's program only pays for 8 weeks of leave compared to the state's 12, the city's plan would cover an employee's entire wage. Meantime, the state's plan, that has a cap. An employee would max only be paid $1,100 a week, even if they make more. The city's program would be free for employees. And I do want to mention, if a staff member with the city and county of Denver decides that maybe that state program works better for them, they're welcome to opt in for that one and out of the local option. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Prairie dogs are causing problems for tenants in a nearby office park in Lafayette. The owner of a veterinary hospital in the Westgate office park says the owners association plans to hire a contractor to deal with that infestation. She says she would rather see the colony relocated rather than just fumigated.
So we need to have a plan moving forward that a new colony doesn't just come right back, which is what's going to happen.
The Boulder County Housing Authority supports the possible fumigation. It owns the preschool nearby and the 5 lots around it where those prairie dogs currently live. Now, businesses and the Housing Authority will meet tomorrow to learn more about the contractor's plans to remove those prairie dogs. Talking about the Broncos now. You know, they were recently sold for a record $4.65 billion, but that's not even in the top 10 for the most valuable NFL franchises. Forbes released its most valuable franchises list. Number 1, the Dallas Cowboys, valued at $8 billion. The Patriots and Rams are the second and third most valuable. The Broncos don't come in until number 12. Well, speaking of the team on the field, they will make another round of cuts after practice today. The team needs to cut 5 players, trimming the roster from its current 85 down to 80. Not any big names or really notable players are expected to be cut, but we will update you throughout the day. NFL teams will have to make many more cuts a week from today to finalize their 53-man roster. And the Broncos have their final preseason game this Saturday night at home against the Vikings. Kickoff for that game, 7 o'clock. And then now in less than 3 weeks, everybody, Russell Wilson and the Broncos open the regular season in Seattle against the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. You can watch that game right here on Denver 7. An organization serving Colorado's Latino community wants to make sure everyone who needs a vaccine can get one. Plus, a Colorado man's tax refund ended up in another state because of a problem with his address. Contact Denver 7 is looking into the growing problem and ways to make sure this doesn't happen to you.